And lastly, I want to talk about my next, which I believe is tip number 6 right now. I'm up to. Is moisturizer. We do the cleansing. There's a couple of steps of cleansing that you can take, that I told you about. There's the regular cleansers, there's your scrubbing cleansers, and there's a mask to really get all the dirt out of the pores that you're only supposed to do twice a week at most. Then there's the toner to finish getting out all the dirt. That's also supposed to help close your pores, which is supposed to help also, so they appear, not only so they appear nicer, but it helps prevent more dirt from going in. So then the next step would be, if you needed acne, for pimples, and then if you needed moisturizer. I'm going to talk about 2 different kinds today. I wasn't sure if I should do this separately, but I honestly don't think that if you have, like some, back in the day, even if you have oily skin, you should use moisturizer. It's just your skin is so greasy. And then, if I would put moisturizer on top, it would just feel even more greasy. So, but I'm going to talk about what you can use. So again, there are different kinds of moisturizers for every skin type because there's many different skin types. And I just wanted to reiterate again, I never went to beauty college or cosmetology classes. I just took classes when I sold Avon and Mary Kay. And I read every book in the library when I was growing up. And now we have the internet and you've got so much information at your fingertips. So I'm just telling you the stuff that I've learned in my 48 years of life. But every skin is different. And so I just want to throw a plug in that if none of these things are like working, they're just people that have really bad problem skin, whether it be that serious acne that you just can't get rid of, that it covers your whole face, or just seriously dry skin. You've got people who've got that very red skin that for some reason is just escaping me the name of it. So, there are times when none of these things are going to work and you're going to have to go to a doctor. But let's just for name's sake, you don't have problem skin. So you did your cleansing, you've done your toning, and you've taken care of the problem acne, acne here and there. The next step would be moisturizing. Again, I don't recommend this for people with oily skin. There's moisturizers for every skin type. You have light moisturizers, which I try to use. You have your regular moisturizers. Then you have like your extra hydrating moisturizers for people with really bad skin. I've even saw moisturizers that I like using the light moisturizer because I get oily skin. But sometimes some people, even with oily skin, get like these little dry patches. And Mary Kay had this product that would not make you, it's for oily skin, but it was good enough to like clear up those dry patches. So there's like all different kinds of moisturizers out there. But if you seriously want to try to keep your skin as young looking or as healthy looking as possible, as long as possible, especially if you have dry skin, you really need a moisturizer. The cold can be very harsh to your skin. You're going to need a moisturizer. The sun is harsh to your skin. You're going to need a moisturizer. I mix my SPF with my light moisturizers. I had 2 bottles of oil control lotion and I mix them with my SPF. And that's the order you do it in. You do your moisturizer, you do your toning. Cleansing, toning, moisturizer. It would be like in that order. And again, I like to do my acne stuff before I put on my moisturizer, and I would put my SPF before my moisturizer. But now I try to get a moisturizer with SPF or mix it with my oil control lotion. Also, I found sometimes if I'm in a rush and I just put on my moisturizer instead of letting it dry, it kind of acts like a base for powder. If I'm in a rush and I'm just putting powder, what I love about the moisturizer, at least for me, is that the powder sticks to it just like a base. And it gives me better coverage. It might also help your moisturizer to go on, your foundation to go on more easily. So this was before bases came out for your face. So I'm just, I don't really use a base for my face, not often. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I don't like that greasy feeling that they have. So yeah, they have all different kinds. Like Mary Kay had a balancing moisturizer that supposedly, if you have combination skin, will target, like control the oil where it needs to be and yet moisturize where it doesn't. But the next step not the next step, but the next thing that I wanted to talk about was if you do have oily skin, if you do have greasy skin, then I would recommend an oil control lotion. The one that I use from Mary Kay, or I guess other companies will call it light moisturizing, but I loved when I first started using this. Moisturizers made my skin feel greasy, so I bought the oil control lotion, and it seriously made my skin feel like silk. It made my skin feel so soft, and yet where the oily parts were on my face, it really felt like it was controlling it. I loved that feeling. So that would be what I would recommend. Like if you have acne prone or oily skin, I would recommend an oil control lotion or maybe a light moisturizer, if you don't like that heavy feeling of a moisturizer. Now that I'm older, I can't use oil control anymore. I'll still use a light moisturizer in the summer sometimes, but I need more now, especially living in Texas with the harsh sun. Also, for oily skin, I've seen blotting tissues where if you do seem to be getting oily throughout the day, you just press it and it's supposed to absorb the oil without taking out the foundation. That doesn't work for me. It takes off my foundation along with the oil. So, just I guess try, if you want that, you could try different brands. Also, another thing, I guess this is why I was thinking of doing this separately, but this was more for oily skin. This was, I said moisturizer, but oil control. Using an oil control powder or an oil-free powder. That's why lots of women you see in the movies, they go to the bathroom, they might be on a date or they're on an outing. I'm going to go powder my nose, because the nose is where the oil comes. And sometimes the oil can remove your foundation or your powder. And so they'll just pat it on, What I do want to specifically say about that, if you're trying to control your oil, and just want to say, like, for later on, I guess when we talk about powders, is that if you're gonna have to throw out the sponge, because if you do have oily skin, it's gonna get bacteria in your sponge, so you're not gonna be able to use it for too long. I remember I used to try and keep it for a month, but it would smell so bad. You shouldn't even put it back in the powder because of the bacteria. You should put your sponge maybe in a Ziploc or something. But again, bacteria is going to grow on it. So if you do use powder, if you do have oily skin and you use powder, really this is like after. These tips I'm giving you should be after foundation. But, these are things that will control your oil. Let's say you don't use foundation and you just use powder, but just remember, the sponges will get bacteria and you will need to frequently throw that out and change it, and I don't recommend putting it back in your powder. Okay, so this is just tips for people with oily skin who can't use moisture control stuff, moisturizing. They can't use moisturizers. This is just some tips for those of you like me who have oily skin. I haven't had that. The older I get, the less breakouts, but I have, found that I still break out around the nose, and I hardly ever break out on the cheek, and I don't know what it is, but I've been finding some breakouts, or at least the skin, it looks like it's about to break out. That's why acne medication, you put it on as soon as you think a pimple's going to grow, and usually it'll, get it before it gets, pussy and ugly. So anyway, those are my tips today: moisturization or oil control. Okay, I will see you next week with the sunflower. Mwah.